Hi there, it's Janice Thompson from JazzleDazzleCraft.co.uk. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I live and work in Scotland, and today I am filming card 2 of July 2024, class in the post, and it's all about using up your scrap strips, but all the offcuts off your designer series paper or any other fancy papers that you own. So just different ways to use them up. This is the second card in the class. So it's called a floating strips card. So I'll show you how it's made. I'll do this bit, I'll talk about that bit later. Let's just get the strips glued on. So what I have provided in the class is actually a piece of the acetate that comes in the stamp sets. So we genuinely are using up scraps. I could have cut everybody a piece from window sheets, but I felt in the spirit of things that we should stick with using up scrap and being more environmentally friendly. So that's what I did. So this card is, as you'll see, it looks like those strips are floating on the card. So how to achieve that? You could use a piece of window sheet, any acetate, clear acetate that you have, but this works perfectly well, so we'll just use that. So I have cut the strips to to a full centimetre wide. You can do this with any strips. They don't have to be that they can be different widths, etc. But I'm just wanted to show you how I achieved the ½ centimetre spacing that I did on these. Of course, you could use any spacing that you want, but I want to, another reason why this grid paper is my favourite. I really love it for crafting on. It really helps you with measurements, etc. So I am going to just gently tape this down because I don't need the whole sheet. So I'm just no, this isn't so easy because I need to have this placed where you can see, but it's not so easy for me to work on, but we'll manage. Right, so obviously, you know, you're going to use these all random, get random patterns. If random is something that you're able to do. Random is not easy. I'm just saying. Right, so I need my glue to be flowing. What are the chances? What are the chances? Right, so I'm not going to go right to the top because I just need enough covered here to cut out a circle. I've probably just knocked that flying. So I'm just going to take this, she says, hopefully. Don't know if my luck. I'm actually running it along one of the dotted lines there because I know that I can put a piece of strip right over the top of that. Now you have to be careful, so I want to line that up with the lines that are above and below. So that glue is now kind of in the middle. Now I did get a bit, I think it was a bit thick at that end. I'm using this cloth. Just, what I don't want is these ends sticking to my paper and getting enough angle. So then I'm going to have a ½ centimetre space, so I can put this on the next line after that. And just choose another strip. Now, some of the paper is from the country woods and some of it's from a retired paper for which I can't remember the name of, but it's retired anyway, so it can be bought. So you can mix and match your scrap to suit yourself. So I'm missing a line, and then I'm going to put glue down on the next line. So it doesn't have to be our grid paper, but if you've got some grid paper to help you here, you know, I don't know, I might have that pink one here actually. But I just wanted to, you can buy this pad and it is in the annual catalogue. I did find out recently that one of my customers thought it was just available to demonstrators, and I just want to just let you know that it's available to everyone. I'm just covering, coming down again. This time use the lovely wood effect. The country wood designer series paper is beautiful. All these are just great for backgrounds, and use the other side of this as well. So it's really just, and what we'll do is we'll set this aside just to let that glue set, because it's on acetate, which isn't porous. You can use either side. I mean, that works along, you know. Earth and Textures, I think this one might be called. So you could do patterns or you can do random. I think that's probably, I put one more on. What I use to cut out for the sample, but you can use any dies that you have. These are the Jekyll Edge dies. They're an online exclusives. This is an absolutely fabulous nesting die set. So going that way, this is the 7th circle that I've used, or if you go that way, it's the 8th. I think there's 14 dies in there. So I have got enough coverage now to cut that circle that I need. So I'm not going to use any more of my strips at the moment. I'll put them to the side, and then I'll take this off and just, oh, see, I did get a bit of glue. See, so I'm just going to leave that to set and not play with it too much. I'll put the die beside it, and we'll make up the rest of the card. And then I'm going to get this paper. No, I'm not, because I'm going to do something messy anyway. So here is it. In the sample, I have embossed the piece of basic beige with the artfully, what's it? It's written here for you. Did it? Maybe I haven't. So it's the, I use this embossing food, painted texture. I'll leave that out so that I remember to write that up. Let me just, I'm just going to write that on, because this is, when I'm doing filming these, I'm checking my instructions for you. Right. I use painted texture. It's actually it's a 3D embossing folder. I think it's on the online exclusives now as well, if it's not in the annual catalogue, but it is still current. I did check. Right, I'll double check when sometimes I'm reading over something and I forget that what I've written. But this time I'm using, not using, the new this is, oh, just my light just went out. Must have run out of charge. Let's just see if I can pop it back on. You won't be able to see very much. Let's have a look. I have other lights on in the room, but that's better. That's it. Goodness. It's actually a new standing light that I'm using, so I'm not quite used to them, and they're various levels of light, but I don't want to muck about with it just now. Right, we'll just, so this time I used the, is it dotted circles, or it's in the annual catalogue. Anyway, because I thought because I'm doing a circular die, it'll just add a bit of interest. So what I did to add interest, I just want to put that down so I don't lose it, right, was I just took the crumb cake, because I've given you a crumb cake card base. I take the crumb cake ink. You could do it with the basic beige ink. In fact, I will, because you don't need to. I've got a funny feeling when I did make the card that my basic beige ink was missing in action. Right, this is very juicy as well, so just gently swiping it, not pressing down, just skiffing it. I think skiffing is a word. Oops, that's all right though. Right, skiffing it over the top. Just to add to the texture. You could use it the crumb cake, because that the card base is crumb cake too. So if you've not got basic beige yet, well, you need to get it. Right, so I can glue this onto my card base, and we can sort our sentiment, and we have our die cut, which is the the die cut is from the Changing Leaves bundle, which of course I got out to show you. This is the Changing Leaves stamp set, and I'm going to use the sentiment from that, and I used the die here to cut the sentiment strip. It's got a lovely stitching detail here, so that, and you can see all the other bits and bobs in this bundle. It's a great bundle. I keep moving things, I don't want to lose that die, so I'm just popping it here where I can see it. Yeah, that's fine just now. Right, sorry, stop to think, not a good idea. Right, so I brought early espresso out to stamp my sentiment, because it kind of blends in with the crumb cake and the... And I've put the stamp set back without taking out the sentiment. That's not the one. I was going to use the note one, so I could use it. But any you have a look through your sentiments, you'll find a sentiment that fits. Right, put it down, Janice. Let it relax. And then pick it up. Sometimes I should follow my own advice, shouldn't I? There we go, that's nice. I'll do that to be cleaned. Right, so now we're just sticking together, and then we'll do our bit of die cutting. So we've got our sentiment ready. and our die cut ready. We'll pop them to the side and we'll glue this on, and then we'll get the cut and emboss machine and cut out our circle. It's just giving a bit of an interesting background. And use your wet glue to give you that wiggle room to make sure you're nice and straight. Right, I'll get the cut and emboss machine ready. And we'll cut our circle out. You can do it any way you want. Well, we'll do it that way because that was hanging over the edges. So hopefully the glue has dried enough and we'll get a nice circle cut out. That's just the Perspex cutting. Now you don't need to pull it back again, but I do because while I'm working like this, it just makes it easier when I'm filming to do that. Right, get the machine out of the way so we can see what we got. So obviously you don't need to die cut this, you could just trim it into a rectangle that fits on your card. Just take a bit of coaxing this. There's a little bit just not, seems to have maybe just not quite cut through the tiniest little bit, so I'll just bend it. It should be enough to make it just use my snips just to catch that last bit. That's it. Don't know why it just didn't cut through that tiny wee bit, but it is that you're cutting through more than you would normally cut through. So you've got that bit left off. If you want to use that for anything, well, you could use that on the card actually. What I will do is I'll trim this. Bit off because that is, you know, that's thick enough, and then cut off the surplus. And we might pop that on the inside of the card. That doesn't look too straight, does it, there? Ah, it's not straight either. Might not be able to fix this. I might be being a little bit ambitious here, but didn't realise that edge wasn't very straight. I'm just playing now, just playing. Anywho, right, back to our card. Right, so the circle you can put on any which way you want, anywhere you want on your card. I actually meant to have this circle over here a bit, but because I've done the card, oh no, that was, and then I remembered about this bit that I messed up. Right, so what you want to do here is you want dimensionals on the back, and you put the dimensionals behind your paper slip. Strips even, not slips. You can cut the dimensionals down if you want, but they just fit if you're careful. You won't need too many, but you as long as they're not going to be seen. So you can cut them down if you want, or you could use the foam strips or the foam sheets and cut some strips, or you could chop some of these. These ones are quite thick. These are from a kit. They're left over from a kit, these ones. Use what you've got. So because I had that kind of splodge of ink there, I'm using that as a, I'll just place this and I'm putting it slightly skew with, just to give a different look. But you can see that now that kind of looks like those paper strips are floating. I'm going to put this away before I lose it. And okay, here it is. In the pack you have a white layer for inside the card, and I'm going to stick this on the bottom of it, just for fun, because I can. There's the glue. I don't need that, but I'll just stick it on first and then snip off the excess. Oops. I'm nice and straight. It's just a wee extra touch, a wee extra bit of decoration. If you didn't have that bit left over, it doesn't matter. It's just something I thought of. No, it was never in the plan. Just sometimes you see things when you're crafting. So that'll dry, the glue will dry clear underneath. And so then I'm going to glue that inside my card. If you're not filming your card, I would suggest you just let that dry before you try to put it in. Go make a coffee or something. Right, and then to decorate, we've simply got a die cut, which again I'll just put a few dots of glue on the back of that. I don't want it totally anchored down because it's quite nice just for it to look a bit dimensional. So I've just put some glue on it, and of course just pop it to about here, just wherever you want it to be. I'm just going to hold it for a minute or two, rather, and just dab up any excess. If you've got a bit of kitchen paper or a microfiber cloth, just right. Okay, so where have I put the sentiment that I stamped. Here it is. All right, and I'll pop that on with dimensionals. I have to. I want to put them more towards the middle because it might, I'm not sure if it's going to be overhanging the circle or not. So let's just see where we're putting it. Now I'm on it straight with the bottom of my card, and beware that, you know, I've got my lines going squinty ways. So you do what suits, what, you know, what appeals to your eye. You said do your own composition. Excuse me. And then you can add a little bit of dimensionals, embellishment with our just wherever you want. I do a triangle, it takes you around the card. Just you embellish however you wish. And I'm just going to take the messy sheet away. I'm not going to turn it over. No, I'm not. That's just as messy. Right, so there you have it, card number 2. Thank you for subscribing. No, thank you for watching the video this far. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. Pardon me. And if you press the bell icon, you will then get notified when I'm coming on again. But thank you so much, everyone. Take care.